The boat we're going to get on looks quite nice.
Would be like the typical beer here. If you all go to a beer garden in Bavaria here, you would get this kind of beer. So not this brand, but this type. And this type is called the Helles beer. So hell in our language means bright. So a beer you can look through. Looks very beautiful. But it has a very deep connection to the town we're going to, which is called Vilshofen. And in Vilshofen, at the beginning of the 19th century, there was a man living, and this man, his name was Josef Groll. And he was invited to come to a city which is not in Germany, which is in today's Czech Republic, in Pilsen. And the people at the beginning of the 19th century in Pilsen, they were not happy with the beer they had. They were throwing out the barrels out of the windows. And you know it from your hometown, so if the beer is bad, then there are uprisings all over the place. Beer from Germany, it is a beer from the Czech Republic. And the very original recipe is now part of the company which is called Pilsener Urquell. And this is one of the oldest recipes for Pils. Part of Passau, which is called Hackelberg, a part of the city, is named after one of the biggest breweries in town. And they have, let's see, what is that? Let's go with this one. This is a slightly altered version from the original recipe, which is not as strong. So the amount of alcohol should be a little less, a bit easier to drink. This is a new brand. They want to attract younger people with it. This is why they named it the Hackel Zwerg. Hackel, the first part of the name of the brewery, and Zwerg means dwarf. So this is the Hackel Dwarf.
It's our nifty boat that we strolled down the river in. Oh, there's a nifty castle up there above. And then we're walking on this, I guess it's some sort of a suspension bridge. Right over here somewhere there's a little marker.
Yes,
here in
just up.
Austria's on one side of this little medallion and Germany's on the other. So I got a picture in both countries. I hear an accordion. This business has a date of 1945, and the apple trees got apples on it.
But yeah, Scharding is a rather small town here in Austria. We crossed the border to Austria already. Counting more than 4,000 people who live in this part, we're going to go through today. But for the future, if you want to shine with your knowledge about this town, you should actually remember just one year, which is very important, and that is the year 1814, because in 1814 something happened which changed the entire town completely, because then it was not part of Bavaria anymore. It was part of Austria since then, and the man responsible for it, Napoleon Bonaparte, because he conquered Scharding, and then Scharding became part of the Austrian Empire and not of the Bavarian kingdom. Scharding had one of the most impressive fortresses. It comes back to the year 1814 again, because Napoleon Bonaparte, nowadays we make a lot of fun of him because he was so small.
He wasn't really.
Don't really know how small he really is. There was a big part of the population and the people who lived here who resisted him. They were all hiding in the fortress, putting all the cannons they had towards his army, and they were firing at him. And Napoleon Bonaparte was a tough cookie. Everybody who stood in his way, he said, well, they want to resist, let them resist. We will destroy every last part of their home as much as possible. This is why today there is no castle we can see, actually just some ground walls left, because Napoleon Bonaparte decided well, if they want to resist, let them resist. We will destroy every last piece of this fortress. The main market here of Scharding, and Scharding and Passau, they share a very deep connection because both cities became very rich places because of one good that passed the Inn River. And back in the days, this good was traded on the Inn River, which made the Inn River for a long time, for hundreds of years, actually one of the most important rivers here in Europe, because it provided the most important good people needed. Certain relevance on the trading map. So they had a right, gave them the opportunity. If there was a ship on the Inn River passing by and they made no move of pulling over and stopping here, they had the right to aim a cannon at them and destroy the ship if necessary. Maybe a warning shot first, because they didn't want the goods to be at the bottom of the river, they want to have them here in the harbor of Scharding. To back it up. And that law was called the stacking right. And the stacking right basically had 3 rules. Rule number 1, every ship that passes here needs to stop. Rule number 2, every ship that is here needs to stay here for 3 days. Rule number 3, every good that is on the ship needs to be unloaded and put in Scharding harbor. The reason for it was very simple. They wanted to give everyone here the opportunity to take a look at these goods, and at the end of the day they even had the right to say, I'm going to buy this, this and all of that. Able to find a butcher inside. The most common color combination was yellow and white, because yellow and white was the color combination for innkeeps or for grocery stores or for places where you can spend the night. Additionally, it is still law in Germany and in parts of Austria as well, that if you have a brewery, you have to color your buildings in yellow and white. Even today, if you add a building to your brewery, you still have to color it in yellow and white. This is why most of, pretty much all of the breweries here, all of them are yellow and white. Then there was blue and white, and blue and white was the color combination for the bakery guild, and then there was green and white. And green and white is the building we're going to now.
That beautiful building. This beautiful building is a jewelry store. Evidently, we're here to make our own salt. And I see they've got lots of liquid up there, probably brandies. Buildings on the other side of the street. We just went down and made some herb salt. Ground some salt and some herbs with a mortar and pestle, and we have herb salt. We have a tattoo shop next to a beauty shop, next to a place where I think you buy lottery tickets, and then a nice 4-star hotel, and a nice garden. I guess that would normally be a fountain. This is Baroque style. This area was not important in the war effort. They weren't making any munitions or anything here, and they pretty much were not damaged in either World War I or World War II. There's their pipe organ.
They're sticking up for pay to maintain the church.
Churches are all owned by the state since Napoleon took them all.